Does your home have guaranteed replacement cost? Are there any other options? What are you to do? Well, sit back and I will tell you. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ryan Turbo Jackson, and I am your insurance resource. And on this channel, I like to break down insurance policies, language, because let's be honest, insurance is its own language, so let me help you. Well, today we're going to dive into what exactly is guaranteed home replacement cost. Does your home have it? Does your policy have it? Or are there other options? And yes, there are other options. I'm just going to throw that out there. There are actually 4 total, and we're going to walk you through, again, another example with our buddy John C. client. So let's jump into what exactly is guaranteed home replacement cost. Okay, well, I kind of fibbed. We're actually going to jump into the actual different types of coverage that your home can have. We can, like we had guaranteed home replacement cost, we could just have standard replacement cost. Or we can have what's called an increased cost endorsement or actual cash value or ACV. And these are going to depend on a lot of companies have different rules and regulations as far as which ones your home is actually approved for. So I'm going to walk you through all of those. But now let's get started with guaranteed home replacement. So what is guaranteed home replacement cost anyway? Guaranteed replacement cost will pay for the full cost of rebuilding your home back to its size and original specifications down to the exact, hardwood flooring, granite countertops, decorative lighting, any switch covers that you have made. That's what guaranteed replacement cost is. So John C. Client has a $200,000 dwelling coverage on his home. His agent adds guaranteed replacement costs to the policy, which means, God forbid, John's home is affected by a fire or wind or anything else, and it is a total loss. And let's just say the cost to rebuild is $275,000. Well, if John C. Client has guaranteed replacement cost like that, he will get it replaced as it was, even for the $275,000. Even if his policy was $200,000. Now, keep in mind, this is within reason, let's say, and on top of that, companies do have certain specifications or rules that your home has to abide by in order to qualify for guaranteed replacement cost. Like we talked about in the last video, which I'll post the link right now, which you can't see. It'll be in the corner over there. But protection classes. Some companies have a rule. If you're in a protection class 9 or 10, you are not eligible for guaranteed replacement cost. So keep that in mind, as well as some other companies do have an age restriction, like it can't be over 60 years old or built before 1940. So yes, your home may not qualify for guaranteed replacement cost, but that's not a bad thing. And let's jump into the other options. The second being just regular replacement costs. So let's jump into that one. So replacement costs, just regular replacement costs. Let's get back to John C. Client here, which, by the way, he said thank you for all the shout outs in the last video. And he's much appreciative of all the comments and everything. So keep those comments rolling and questions rolling for John, because he is going to be an ongoing character in these videos. So let's keep John happy so that he kind of helped collab with us. So, and that if you're asking yourself, that is a picture of John right there. So, John, let's wave to John. Well, John has that same $200,000 dwelling coverage, and he has just replacement costs on his policy. Now, same loss, $275,000. Now with this, John would just get a check for the $200,000 minus his deductible, of course, and would have to find other means of acquiring the other $75,000, whether that be through alterations in the home to make it come in under that threshold, or to get a loan, or actually come up with cash for it by himself. So that is the difference between guaranteed replacement costs and replacement costs. That word guaranteed is huge, so keep that in mind. Let's jump into number 3, the increased cost endorsement. Now, within the increased cost endorsement, one of the things I get asked frequently is, increased cost means it's costing me more money. That's not true in all cases. It's not true in many cases. What this means is it's actually a means to protect against I guess you could call it inflation or supply and demand when it does come to your building supplies and labor. And yes, this is kind of a different type of coverage. Now, let's say that John C. Client, his home is affected, as well as a bunch of people in his community, let's say by a tornado or a fire or something like that. And the local hardware store or home supply store is the only place to get the materials to help rebuild John's house. And on top of that, if there's a lot of things happening, there's only a certain amount of contractors that are in the area. So supply goes up, demand goes up, or supply goes down, demand goes up. You're going to see an increase in price. Now, some companies will add a 25% coverage on top of your dwelling coverage. So John would be getting a $200,000 replacement cost with an extra 25% on top of that. Some companies even offer 50%. They'll offer 50% on top of that dwelling coverage. So John would actually get 50% on top of that 200,000 just to help ensure that his home is the rebuild of his home goes to pay for that extra cost for the materials and the labor. So keep that in mind. And yes, this is I use this a lot when the home does not qualify for guaranteed home replacement costs. This is where I'll add this little bit extra just to make sure that just in case something like this were to happen, or if they did need to pull an extra few dollars if there was a total loss, this would be key when it comes to that. Now let's jump into the last one, which is not very common, but I did want to bring it up. So let's get into number 4, actual cash value. Now, actual cash value, or ACV, is pretty much just like the title says. You want to insure a home for a certain amount. And when it comes to residential homes, we don't see this a lot because actually, if you do have a mortgage, your lender will not allow this option. It has to be covered for either has to have the increased cost endorsement or guaranteed replacement costs. Those are usually the two options. Usually, however, every lender is different. But when it comes to a new home purchase or a home in general, ECV or actual cash value, we really don't see a lot of it. Where this does come into play and why I wanted to bring this on in this video is a lot of times folks will buy a home on a flip or buy a home to flip or buy a home on from an auction, and let's say they pay $25,000 or $30,000 cash, and that's all they want to do is if something were to happen, they just want to recoup the amount of cash that they have into it, or they buy it for $25,000, put another $25,000 into it to remodel and bring it up to code, and they just want to insure it for $50,000. So John would have, let's say, a rental property that is buying and bought it on the cheap and wanted to make some improvements, so he just pays $50,000 cash for everything out the door, and that's all he wants to insure it for. So, like I said, not a real big thing when it comes to residential houses, or even normal houses. This is normally rentals and stuff like that. But it is an important option, and like I said, in the event that it does happen with a regular home, most people think that it's less expensive. That is normally not the case because there's so much gray area when it comes to actual cash value. Because if something were to happen, you're only getting the $50,000, like our John C. client example. So, is it really worth it? Who knows? But a lot of times it's just as expensive to get guaranteed replacement cost, and you get a lot more coverage on top of it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is guaranteed replacement cost. That is all. I mean, there are some other options, but they're not nearly as popular or nearly as streamlined. They're more niche. So when it comes to those, I might do separate videos just because they are so niche. But generally, these are your coverage options when it comes to your dwelling coverage, or coverage A if you want to get technical. John has helped us with these videos again, so please give him a like, subscribe, comment, and watch these videos up here because they're going to take you further down the home insurance road. And I will see you on the next one.